Welcome to This Week in Astrology. This is episode number 579 for March 29 through April 15, 2021. Obviously, that's a lot more than a week. Starting with this episode, we're now going to twice monthly podcasts. I need to make time for a new podcast I'm going to be launching for Awakening Plus. I've got a book I need to complete on my invocations, and none of that's going to happen with the workload I currently have. So I apologize for those of you who've grown comfortable with the weekly. Actually, it was not that long ago that we were doing this podcast about twice a month. So we're going back to that frequency, at least for the time being. Everything is always just for now. But let's go ahead and forecast for this current period, the first half of April, along with the last few days of March. We've got an unusually diverse mixture of powerful astrological energies. Several aspects support harmonious relating and inspired creativity, but other aspects could stir up uncomfortable shadow work or catalyze negatively impulsive behavior if you're not careful. All this is further energized by a potently aspected Aries new moon. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm your host, Benjamin Bernstein, broadcasting from thisweekinastrology.com. I simultaneously record these forecasts as an audio podcast and a video. Choose the format you prefer. The video version includes detailed chart graphics, which you can also see on my website, astroshaman.com. This Week in Astrology is honored to be one of the internet's top 10 astrology podcasts. Check out our website, thisweekinastrology.com, where you can hear the show and subscribe to podcast updates. If you haven't already, be sure to click the link in the show notes for 2 chances to win a free Astrology Plus session with me each month. We come into this first half of the month with a waning moon. What's new? Let's start on Monday, March 29th. We start with the Sun conjunct Chiron, both at 9 degrees Aries. Sun-Chiron conjunction can bring up wounding because Chiron is the wounded healer. You might get triggered, have some shadow work come up, some old unprocessed emotions, but this is also a really awesome energy to step out as the mentor or the healer yourself, or seek someone out to serve you with those same things. Aries is just great for starting stuff. It can add some fire and energy to the shadow work and give you lots of energy to do what you got to do under these energies. Also on March 29th, your mind can focus more easily on spirituality and inspired creativity with Mercury conjunct Neptune at 21 Pisces. This conjunction also supports channeling, whether that involves discarnate beings or information from your own inner wisdom. Moving on to Monday, April 5th, committed partnerships of all kinds receive abundant flowing energy thanks to a cradle. It starts today, again, that's April 5th, peaks on the 14th and ends on the 23rd. This harmonious aspect pattern includes the Sun, Mars, Juno, and Jupiter. You can also use this cradle to start a new committed partnership due to the initiating power of Mars and the Sun's placement in pioneering Aries. Aquarian Jupiter contributes expansive energy and good fortune, especially if you follow your intuitive hits. On Tuesday, April 6th, harmonious energized relating is supported with Venus sextile Mars, Venus 20 Aries, Mars 20 Gemini. This flowing aspect also supports creativity. Venus in Aries supports new beginnings in these areas. Mars in Gemini supports creative writing and enthusiastic, amicable communication. Everything represented by the wounded healer is amplified by a Jupiter-Chiron semi-square. That's 45 degrees, Jupiter, 24 Aquarius, Chiron, 9 Aries. This is in effect March 10th through May 19th. This 45-degree connection is a minor hard aspect, but can still have a significant effect. Chiron represents all the old psychological baggage you're still carrying around. Jupiter can catalyze it, giving you the chance to heal it once and for all, and break through to a new level of spiritual awakening. That's just what happens when you do a good piece of shadow work. For a fast and effective way to do this, check out the healing invocation in my free invocation masterclass. There's a show notes link, or go to astroshaman.com. Last word on the menu bar says invocations. Click that or tap that. It'll take you right in. Jupiter can also amplify Chiron's abilities as a healer and mentor. This can support you whether you're giving or receiving this valuable support. Jupiter in Aquarius supports unorthodox methods, while Chiron in Aries wants to jump in and get all this done now. Friday, April 9th, we have 2 Chiron aspects. First, Mercury-Chiron conjunction at 9 Aries. Mercury is the mind and learning and communicating, so this supports putting a focus on healing and mentoring and shadow work. And of course, if you are facilitating, of course, you can communicate beautifully around healing and mentoring. Aries, of course, just fires up the initiatory energy and gives you lots of fiery energy to get it done. Also here on Friday, April 9th, that other Chiron aspect, Mars quintile Chiron. Now, Mars and Aries are the same energy, so we still have the fiery initiatory thing, but quintile says magical connection, lots of cool inspiration popping in. So healing and mentoring might be divinely inspired and go to a whole new level of genius due to that aspect. Mars, by the way, is at 22 Gemini and Chiron's at 10 Aries. Also, on Friday, April 9th, you can pour fresh energy into your inspired creativity or spiritual awakening practice, thanks to a Mars-Neptune square. Mars, 22 Gemini, Neptune, 22 Pisces. This dynamic aspect also supports sacred sex and taking immediate action on your intuition. With Mars in Gemini, the square also supports creative writing and channeling. Now, this square could also be used to spread misinformation, and there is no shortage of that out there. So be careful not to form a fixed opinion based on a dubious source. Moving on to Saturday, April 10th, good fortune could bless your relationships, creativity, and finances with Venus sextile Jupiter. Venus, 25 Aries, Jupiter, 25 Aquarius. These two planets are the benefics of ancient astrology and tend to bring good things, especially when they make a harmonious aspect, such as this sextile. However, even soft aspects like this cannot guarantee a positive outcome. Would you like to tilt the odds in your favor? With Jupiter in Aquarius, take advantage of the hints being dropped by your higher self by following your intuitive hits. With Venus in Aries, take assertive action to bring about the reality you desire. On Sunday, April 11th, there's a new moon at 10:31 p.m. at 22 degrees, 24 minutes Aries. Any Aries new moon is great for embodying the energy of the warrior, pioneer, or entrepreneur. Aries energy is also ideal for stepping more potently into your sexuality or starting something new. Let's get into its aspects. Conjunctions. For starters, this new moon conjoins 3 planets, which are also in Aries. Venus opens the door to new energies in your relationships, creativity, and finances. Ceres offers harvest and abundance. The grain goddess can also catalyze challenging emotions, so have shadow work tools ready. Mercury makes the final conjunction to this new moon, energizing your learning, writing, and communication. Lots of good stuff with those conjunctions. A cradle. This new moon happens just 3 days before the peak of the Sun, Mars, Juno, Jupiter cradle that I already interpreted back for April 5th. I'll borrow from that interpretation to tell you that committed partnerships of all kinds receive abundant flowing energy. You can also use this cradle to initiate a new committed partnership thanks to the initiating power of Mars and the Sun's placement in pioneering Aries. Aquarian Jupiter contributes expansive energy and good fortune, especially if you follow your intuitive hits. The final important aspect to this new moon is a Pluto square. Like Ceres, Pluto can trigger your unhealed wounds. If this happens, you might find a quick and effective shadow work tool like my free healing invocation, which I already mentioned, helpful. The more you work through your old emotional burdens, the more easily Pluto can offer you its gifts of wealth and power. In addition to money, wealth can be anything that makes your life better. Power can be used to keep others under your thumb or can be shared to uplift everyone. Also, on Sunday, April 11th, committed partnership receives powerful support from a Mars-Juno-Neptune T-square. It started on March 26th, peaks today on April 11th, and ends on April 27th. While this dynamic aspect pattern can energize any committed partnership, relationships focused on spirituality or inspired creativity can receive a special boost. This T-square can also help you and your partner operate in flow state. This aspect pattern also invites you and your committed partner to hold a strong, clear vision of your relationship's highest expression. What shared goals are you working toward? What are the most amazing things that could result from your joint efforts? Also on Sunday, April 11th, Venus square Pluto. Venus, 27 Aries, Pluto, 27 Capricorn. So squares can be challenging. So all the things Venus represents, relationship, creativity, and money, could receive some challenge from Pluto. But remember, Pluto is also wealth and power. So it could be taking the relationship deeper and more magnificent, more authentic, naked, honest, vulnerable. It could bring wealth because Venus is money and Pluto is great wealth. And creativity, it can really fire that up too. So the most likely challenge would be probably relationship challenge. So have your shadow work tools ready. As always, I'm a big fan of shadow work to accelerate awakening, but there's super high potential here as well. Moving on to Wednesday, April 14th, the Sun, Mars, Juno, Jupiter cradle that started on April 5th, and I already interpreted, peaks today on the 14th and ends on the 23rd. On Wednesday, April 14th, take immediate action on your intuitive hits. That's the single best piece of advice I can give you with Mars semi-square Uranus. Mars, 25 Gemini, Uranus, 10 Taurus. An intuitive hit is a piece of information that you know in your bones the instant it arrives. It comes direct from your higher self and is the most reliable guidance available to a human being. As a caution, Mars-Uranus is highly volatile. Try to avoid people and places where there could be sudden violence. Be careful not to take impulsive actions, including ill-advised sexual behavior that you might regret later. Back on the bright side, with Mars in Gemini, this minor heart aspect can also support creative writing, brilliant communication, and outside-the-box thinking. This could also be a great time to step out of your rut and try something new. Announcements. Everyone is welcome to participate in many Awakening Plus Zoom calls for free. These events support your individual healing and awakening, as well as global spiritual awakening. Some events are for Awakening Plus members only, but we'd love to have you join our supportive online community. Dip your toe in the water with our 30 days for $1 risk-free trial membership. Here's some info on our events through April 15th. They're all at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, unless otherwise noted. We have a free public event on Tuesday, March 30th. Group healing, immunity boosting, and awakening. Enhanced immunity is good to have, especially during this pandemic. So we call it in from our divine allies, along with embodied awakening and personal healing. This should run 60 to 90 minutes. Then a members only call called Divinely Directed on April 7th. These are on Wednesdays. We're now moving our featured events to Wednesday nights starting in April. Each Divinely Directed call is unique. However, a typical call features a subtle field being held. Within the sacred space, each person receives the specific awakening, healing, or spiritual experience that serves their highest good. In addition to these customized individual experiences, the group often blends together as a single divine being. Words like bliss and euphoria simply are not adequate to describe some of the ecstatic spiritual experiences we share in the inner world. That one should last 60 to 90 minutes. We have a members-only community support call on Thursday, April 8th. And then on Wednesday, April 14th, a members-only shamanic breathwork, actually our most popular event. Breakthrough to deeper healing and awakening with shamanic breathwork, supported by focused breathing and powerful recorded music. You can experience a natural altered state and spontaneous shamanic journeying. This process can release old wounds, challenging emotions, and dysfunctional patterns, resulting in greater health and wholeness. You might also open to new levels of spiritual awakening. I am a certified shamanic breathwork facilitator. I'll introduce you to the process, hold space remotely during the music, and then help you integrate afterward. And then every Monday, 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, New Earth Support Team. In this popular weekly event, we first create our sacred container and invoke embodied awakening. Then we let our divine allies know we've come to serve the great global awakening, and they take it from there. The divine likes to give as good as it gets. Our spiritual service is routinely rewarded with personal healing, spiritual upgrades, and profound bliss. This runs about an hour. Awakening Plus features at least 10 live streaming events each month. Many live events are open to everyone for free, but members receive these exclusive benefits. Of those 10 live Zoom calls, about half are members only. There's an archive of over 300 life-transforming events, plus a best of guide. These recorded events are just as potent and effective as the live ones. We have enlightening course content, including the complete 16-part Invocation Masterclass, a monthly community connection call. You can hook up with an accountability partner. We got a private forum. Learn more or start your 30 days for $1 risk-free trial membership at awakeningplus.com. Our April free session winner is Catherine. There's 2 Catherines who've entered, but this is the only Catherine that has the word star in her email address. Just pop me an email at benjamin@astroshaman.com and we'll get you set up with your free session. Congratulations, Catherine. Thank you all for being here. Once again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. I can serve you with astrology readings, shamanic healing, awakening activation, one-of-a-kind life coaching, and more. All of my one-on-one services are equally effective in person or long distance, and during the pandemic, I have dropped my rates. I also offer an unbeatable price on SolarFire, the #1 astrology software for Windows. And as I mentioned, I run the Awakening Plus online membership for spiritual support. You can learn all about this and more at astroshaman.com. To see the show notes, go to astroshaman.com/579. Please reach out if you have any questions. My email is benjamin@astroshaman.com. And my number for voice and text is 828-338-9852. I would love to connect with you. We're wrapping up. Please leave me a rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this episode so others who also love astrology and spirituality can find it. Thanks again for spending this time with me. Stay safe, stay healthy. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.